help me finish this slogan. Like a good neighbor. All right. How about this one? Choosy mothers choose. You guys are good. All right. A few years ago, the military had some recruitment slogans that went off pretty well. One was from the Navy. It's going to test you now. It's not just a job, it's an adventure. Yeah. And be all you can be. And tagged on to that was another line, be all you can be, transform your life and become part of something bigger than yourself. I kind of liked that idea of transformation and becoming something bigger because it prioritizes personal growth and contributing our life to a larger purpose, whatever that larger purpose will be. Consumer research shows that slogans like these achieved nearly 90% recognition. And they become deeply embedded in culture and in the consumer consciousness. Now, to test this, when Susie read the sermon, the first thing that came to mind was a commercial when she was just a young gal. And it was this. If you know it, join me. My baloney has a first name. Yeah, all right. We don't have to sing the whole thing, but, we are on live stream, so, that's Good slogans or catchphrases attract our attention. They stick in our minds, which is evident from us here. They're like mini mission statements designed to grab our attention and to leave a lasting impression in our minds because it motivates us to want to use a particular product or to sign up for a particular service. I think Jesus could have used some help in crafting his recruitment slogan in today's gospel. He is traveling with a large crowd of people, and he turns to them and says, if you want to join up with me, if you want to be my disciple and go about and do what I do, hey, you have to give up everything, all your possessions. You have to pick up a heavy cross, which would have rang through them. The cross in those days was an instrument of torture and humiliation. And he said, you got to carry that along with you if you're coming with me. And oh yeah, you got to hate. You got to hate not only those nearest and dearest to you, you got to even hate life itself. Now that is a far cry from be all you can be, isn't it? If this is truly what Jesus is asking of me, I think I would much rather prefer an adventure in the Navy than joining up with him. This whole passage seems like a complete 180 from the messages of love and forgiveness and serving others that we are used to hearing from Jesus. So to understand what's going on here, I think we have to dig around a bit in the language that Jesus is using here. First of all, Jesus is not using the term hate in the way that we use it in our modern language. Remember, what's in our Bible is in English, which came from Greek, which came from Hebrew and Aramaic and so on and so forth. And that's the best word we can come up with. He is not asking us to literally hate anyone or anything. But just like in English, Greek words have different meanings depending on their context. So in this passage, the word in Greek is miseo. And it translates for us as hate, which means, though, the miseo means to love or to esteem less than. To love or esteem less than. It's meant in this passage to convey a sense of having a total commitment to a cause. That no person or no other priorities or interests can get in the way of or be above our commitment to God. The second thing about this language, and for all you who are school teachers or retired school teachers, this language is hyperbolic. And what is hyperbole? Yeah, it's an exaggeration, isn't it? They're exaggerated statements to emphasize and evoke strong images and feelings in us. It's like saying it is raining cats and dogs. We don't really mean that cats and dogs are falling down from the sky, raining on us. What we mean is we're making the point that it is raining so unusually and unbelievably hard. But it captures our imagination, doesn't it? Raining cats and dogs. Statements like these are not meant to be taken literally. So think of this passage from Jesus as Jesus' rallying halftime speech, where he's asking everyone around him and asking us to give everything you got, to leave it all on the field in your commitment to God. And like a good slogan, Jesus' words of giving up our possessions and hating everything and carrying our cross creates a strong, memorable impression. And it tells us that following him, leading into his mission, doing what he did and what he came for, being his disciple and fulfilling what God has created us for, all of that is a commitment that takes precedent over any and all other commitments. And being totally committed to something involves a degree of sacrifice. Putting God first and foremost in our life, it's more than a catchphrase. It's more than just something nice to say. It should radically change how we are and how we do things in the world. It should shift our focus and perspective away from purely personal interests and desires and toward something greater, something beyond ourselves. It means letting Jesus' teachings and example guide your actions and your decisions and your priorities. It means that Jesus' example and teachings will transform our perspectives so that we can live more peaceful and joyful and resilient and generous lives. Or as Jesus describes this kind of sacrifice, take up your cross and follow me. This graphic image of picking up our cross or carrying our cross paints a picture. It stirs our imagination about the kinds of burdens and sacrifices that are a normal part of life. Now, unfortunately, if we only think of burdens and sacrifice as something negative, or if we narrowly associate them with suffering, or giving things up, or denying ourselves, or renouncing something important to us, then we are missing Jesus' point. Because we also make sacrifices in order to have or to enjoy something greater. To carry our cross is to carry the weight and the burden and the reality of the choices we make for the kind of life we want. As a parent, as a grandparent, aunt, uncle, good friend, how many of you have given up a weekend or something that you personally enjoy because you had to go to a school event? How many of the young people, our acolytes here, our young people out there, how many of you have given up free time for schoolwork or extracurricular activities? Or maybe you saved up some money or you did some extra chores around the house so that you could save up and get that special toy or that nice dolly that you want. How many of you have put in long hours in your job to build your career, to support your family, to make ends meet? How many of you have had to make compromises in your marriage or in other significant relationships? How many of you have given up your dreams or your desires, or maybe had to put them on hold for a while for the sake of someone else? What is the cross or the crosses that you bear? What does sacrificing mean to you personally? And we don't make these sacrifices out of drudgery. We sacrifice, we carry our cross for others out of love. We make these sacrifices and carry these burdens because of something bigger than ourselves. They bring us closer and they make possible what is most important and most valuable to us. I knew from the moment my daughter was born that life was going to be different. How I lived in life was going to be different. And these efforts, these burdens, these sacrifices, they're not in vain. When we commit to following Jesus, it brings into relief, like a painting or a sculpture. It makes it visible and it makes it prominent, the sacrifices that we make for family and marriage and children and grandchildren and friends and church and career. When we commit to putting God first, all other commitments and choices and priorities find their energy. When we give God all that we are and all that we have, we open ourselves to a way of life that is bigger, better, and more fruitful than we could ever have imagined. When you look at the long arc of your life, what is most important to you? What do you hope for? What is sacrifice, or what kind of sacrifice is required in your life? Does your cross bear the scars of the sacrifices you have made? What fruits have these sacrifices borne in your life? The cross we carry is about the caliber and character of our lives. And like anything worth doing, living a deeply meaningful and faith-filled life takes time, and it takes energy, and it takes work, and it takes practice, or in a word, it takes sacrifice. Be all you can be. Transform your life. Become part of something bigger. Hate everything. Give it all away and take up your cross and follow me. It sounds like a pretty catchy slogan, if you ask me. Amen.